My name is Carol Masters, and one of my favorite hobbies is working in the garden and planting and pruning and just making it look lovely for everyone who comes by. When I moved up to Kelso, Washington, and moved up in the other lot with my son and daughter-in-law, and they had just built their home, and it needed something to complement it, and so I decided that I would buy some plants and start planting and just seeing what would develop. Well, when I was a child, I was born in Iowa, and so we had gardens and planted trees, plants around the yard, and especially bleeding hearts, which was my mother's favorite plant, and I used to mow it down with a lawnmower all the time, and that's what made me get interested in taking care of plants so that I would recognize them and not harm them. And then I got married and moved to Hawaii, and so I spent many years out there planting and growing uh, tropical fruit and nuts and that sort of thing. A lot of different trees, oranges and limes and lemons and grapefruit and jaboticaba, which is it looks like a grape. It's about that big around. Same color, same skin as a grape with the same insides, and a very popular plant there and lovely. Well, of course that would be Hawaii because it's forever, you're just uh, cleaning and cutting and yet your plants just they never die. They just keep growing and spreading and it's just exhilarating. Where well, and then of course the Northwest, because of the winters and the cold, that's not a lot of fun. So of course the spring comes up and my wonderful grandchildren come out and help me in the garden, and that makes it nice and special. Well, of course, there's a pattern. I'm not a great horticulturist, but there is design. First of all, you put your shorter bushes to the front, and then behind them you put bushes a little or plants, flowers or whatever they are. You set them behind, and then you have your tall growing ones behind that. So when you look, you see the layer spread out, and uh, of course, you have your line, and you're just looking and you think, oh, wouldn't something like this look really cute there? And that's kind of the way it's done. Well, I, I like to work. I like to get out and do things and be in the fresh air, and I like to dig holes and all of that kind of stuff. So all of the things that I like to do are fulfilled in gardening. Okay. These are your Mugo pines, which are one of my favorites. And then the first thing we planted were the blue spruce, and that was quite a feat because they were big trees when I got them, but was one of those specials I got from Greg. And then up here, that one pine that's behind the rue. Are you familiar with the rue? The spread. It's the rue is right behind your Mugo pine, and then behind that is that pine up there. That pine tree is worth a fortune. It's one of those really rare ones. There's another one over here, but it's not doing as well as that one. But you're never supposed to fertilize it or do anything to it. You're just supposed to let it grow as it wants to grow without feeding. And then, of course, up there, that is called the serpentine birch because it twists and turns and moves all around. And that's one of my, actually, I love all of the plants. Okay, my daughter-in-law always wanted a rose garden, and so this seemed like a really good area, following our terrain of our water line from the river. So these two rose bushes here are Andrew and Christy. They're both yellow roses, and they're not a climber. Uh, they will only grow about this tall here. So, and they're yellow. And then we have this little path here that we're trying to fill in with the corsican mint. That's what all of this is through here. Moles. They were so horrible, and my wonderful granddaughter Hannah helped me clear out some of that. She went in there and was digging down, and then I, of course, fortunately, I got some mole spray that you spray, and it doesn't hurt the mole, but they don't like the flavor of whatever's in that you spray the garden with, so they all run away. So they really messed the garden up, and not just gardens, but yards, and I'm sure a lot of people, they know it. I drive to town and I see the places that have, moles are popping up everywhere. So that's about the worst. Or the dogs or the cats, where they come in and maybe you planted something and they go and dig it up and hide a bone in it or whatever. So those are the things, just predators. Well, I guess the unexpected was how big and fast things grow, and not recognizing the space that they would take up and that sort of thing. And that was just a real blessing. It just makes you feel real good, and just the fragrance that comes from the plants, and just looking at them and being able to walk down, and your landscape kind of unfolds before you, and there's always some kind of a new little discovery of some little plant that's popping in there.